Hello. I wanted to talk today about growing in Christ. All of us who are trying to be serious about our Christianity worry from time to time about how we're getting on. Are we doing it right? And when we start as Christians or start taking it seriously, things usually seem to go really well and pray well and it's exciting and church is fun. And then after a while, we find it's getting a bit boring maybe and nothing much seems to be happening. And I seem to be just the same as I was last year or the year before or even 10 years before that. Is there any change in me as a Christian? So I want to talk a bit about that today and to say that if you're feeling like that, don't worry. Probably there's nothing wrong with you. What you're feeling is simply normal. It's what all of us experience in our Christian lives. You could take the example of a garden. If you plant a seed and the conditions are right, something will pop up pretty quickly and grow quickly. But then it will slow down because it's got other things to do. It must put down roots and grow a strong stem so that later on it can produce a good fruit. Most of us are in that stage of putting down roots and growing strong branches so that we can bear fruit in good time. So the first thing about prayer and the spiritual life is that it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Jesus talked to ordinary people and they all understood him. So we must expect Christianity to be straightforward and simple and we can all manage it. When you come to pray, simply put yourself in the presence of God and remember it's God who's going to act, not me. The really important thing about prayer is God's action, and what we have to do is to be there, stay there, and try and pay some attention to what God may be wanting to tell us. So the first of the building blocks on prayer is simply to pray a little every day. It doesn't have to be complicated. The Lord's Prayer, said slowly, is fine. Do that once or twice a day, and that will be a very good foundation stone for your prayer. If you want to do something a bit more than just pray the Lord's Prayer, there are various books that can offer you short prayers or morning and evening prayer. We produced a couple in our community, this Week of Simple Offices and this companion volume, and some people found that a very easy way to get into regular but quite a pleasant and varied sort of prayer. The second thing, of course, that's really important is to read the Gospels. What I do every morning before my own morning prayer is to read the Gospel for that day. You can find that in the lectionary, or there's an internet site called Universalis, which will give you the epistle and gospel for the day. But just to take that reading, read it through slowly, think about it, read it 2 or 3 times, listen to see what God is saying. Sometimes you'll get some really exciting ideas. Other times you will be reminded of things that you know very well. That's fine. That is just allowing the Gospels to make their way right into you and become a part of your life. My third bit of advice you'll probably think is very old-fashioned, but I believe it's true. Go to Mass. Go to church to receive Holy Communion, to place yourself there in the presence of God and show that you want to be there. I know that's not easy at the moment because of COVID-19, but when it is possible, when it becomes possible, make that a central part of your life because it puts the responsibility back onto God to look after your spiritual life. So there you have it really, some basic building blocks. put yourself in the presence of God, pray simple prayers, read the Gospel, and go to Mass. Of course, there is more to Christianity than just praying or reading the Bible or going to Mass. We do have to live with people, and that's often where Christianity becomes quite challenging. So I'd like to offer you one bit of advice here, one single word: listen. We don't listen in our lives. We don't really listen to people. We think about other things. We think about what we're going to say, or we talk while they're talking. So really listen to the people around you. We live by the Benedictine life, and in the Rule of St. Benedict, it begins with that one word, listen. And all the rest of the rule is a kind of commentary on that need to listen to what other people are saying, so that we can hear what God is saying to us through them. Finally, I talked at the beginning about a garden, and that was about little plants growing up. But most of us don't really want to be Christian plants. We certainly don't want to be weeds, because they grow up quickly and die quickly, whereas we want to live for a long time. And we have to imitate a tree. You don't really notice trees growing. If they're good trees, they take a very long time. They put down good solid roots. They grow big, strong trunks and good, strong branches. That's the kind of Christians we need. Nothing spectacular, nothing that people keep saying, oh wow, look at this, but just saying, here's a good, secure, solid Christian. And that's what the kind of simple disciplines I've been talking about will help us to become. So just think of that picture of a tree, and don't worry if you feel you're not growing. I promise you, you are.